everything you've been told about confidence is probably wrong. You don't need to be born with it, and most athletes trying to fake it till they make it are actually making things worse. The problem is most athletes believe that confidence is some magical feeling that just comes and goes, but that's a myth. And in this video, I'm going to break down the 5 biggest lies that you've been told about confidence. If you're new here, I'm Sam, a mental performance coach to pro athletes. So it's literally my job to help them build real sustainable confidence so that they can perform their absolute best when it matters most. So everything I'm about to share here is based on real experiences helping out top athletes. So let's get started. Right, so picture this. There's an athlete who feels his absolute best before every game after eating his special pre-game meal. A big super bowl of porridge. It's got oats, peanut butter, berries, and honey. It's an absolutely crucial part of his routine. It gets him in the right mindset, and he swears it makes him faster, sharper, and more locked in. But one day, disaster strikes. It's game day and he realizes that he's out of honey. Suddenly, panic sets in. He starts overthinking. What if I don't have the same energy? What if I feel sluggish? What if this tiny change ruins my entire performance? This is the trap so many athletes fall into. They believe that if one small thing is off in their preparation, then their confidence and their performance will crumble. But that's a myth. The idea that your preparation has to be perfect. Rituals, routines, and habits are powerful, don't get me wrong. Athletes sequence these together very deliberately because they do allow you to feel in control and just lessen the anxiety that comes through unpredictability, which in sport, there's a lot of that. So these routines give a sense of order before stepping into chaos, which means that you can enter a performance more composed and therefore more confident. But the moment you become overly reliant on them, they turn into a crutch. Instead of helping you, they start controlling you. The truth is, you don't need to feel perfect to perform at your absolute best. Look at Michael Jordan's legendary flu game, also known as the pizza game. He felt terrible, weak, dehydrated. He looked like he was about to die on the sidelines, but he still dropped 38 points in the NBA Finals because his confidence didn't come from feeling great. It came from knowing that he could deliver no matter what. That's the mindset you need. Your routines should be the final touch, a definite confidence booster, but not the foundation that everything rests on. Because there will be performances where you slept like shit the night before because you were in some random hotel room where the beds were super uncomfy, or there was loud traffic outside your window all night. Or a common one for endurance athletes is getting a bit sick during your taper before the marathon that you're going to run. This is just the reality of sport, unfortunately. You can still have a near perfect performance after having imperfect preparation. Okay, so next up, think about this. You've definitely seen those athletes who walk onto the field with the kind of confidence that makes it seem like the game's already won. They're unstoppable, right? Their confidence radiates from every step they take, and it seems like nothing could shake them. But here's where it gets tricky. Confidence is crucial, sure, but what happens when that confidence tips over into overconfidence? When you're so sure of yourself that you stop respecting your opponents, when you start to believe that no matter what, you're going to come out on top. Take Conor McGregor, for example. Early in his career, McGregor was a force of nature. He exuded confidence without question. He had that no one can beat me mentality, but beneath that bravado was also a level of caution. He deeply understood his opponents, knew he needed a strategy, and he trained relentlessly for that. He had insane outward confidence, yes, but behind closed doors, he also had a healthy respect for the fight ahead. Fast forward to the latter stages of his career, and McGregor's confidence did remain sky high, but something else changed. He started to fully underestimate his opponents. He stopped respecting them in the same way that he once did. Instead of putting in the same level of work, he relied more on his confidence and less on strategy. The result? A series of defeats, showing us all that confidence alone isn't enough. Confidence without some caution leaves you wide open for problems. You might think that you're untouchable, but that's when complacency sets in, and an opponent who is more prepared can easily take you down. So what's the myth here? Well, it's the belief that confidence alone guarantees a good performance. Confidence is necessary, yes, but it has to be matched with respect for your opponents, preparation, and the understanding that you can't take anything for granted. The truth is, confidence is extremely powerful, but it's only one part of the equation. You need to balance that confidence with a touch of caution, strategy, and a commitment to continually improving yourself. Otherwise, you are just running on empty bravado and you will get shown up. Some of you might be thinking, well, someone like McGregor was of course confident. He had a track record of success. Confidence builds on past wins, right? Well, that brings us to our next myth. Confidence is directly tied to your level of success. A lot of athletes believe once I win that championship, once I go pro, then I'll finally have unshakable confidence. But here's what I've seen firsthand. I've worked directly with world-class athletes who still struggle with confidence. And I've also worked with younger, less accomplished athletes who have confidence in abundance. They haven't reached those peaks of success yet, but they still believe in themselves. So what does that tell us? Well, confidence isn't something that you earn through success. It's not about what you did last year, last month, or even last game. It's about what you believe you can do right now. Just look at Lamont Marcel Jacobs in the 2024 Olympics. He was the reigning Olympic champion in the 100 meters. But if you watched the Netflix sprint series, you would have seen that he didn't exude confidence heading into his title defense. Since his gold medal, he battled injuries, setbacks, and rising challenges. And when the moment came, he barely scraped into the final and then ultimately finished 5th. That's why some of the best athletes in the world still struggle with confidence. If they're unsure that they can perform right now, then all their past successes mean nothing to them. Here's the thing, confidence isn't something that automatically follows success. Sure, previous achievements can give you that evidence base, but it doesn't mean that you have a guaranteed sense of confidence when it's actually time to compete. It's not about relying on past glory, but about trusting in your ability now, right in the moment when the stakes are high. Look, sometimes previous successes can actually shock your confidence because you now have more pressure to reach a higher standard. You set a new difficult benchmark to consistently reach, which has come about from a once-in-a-lifetime performance. The truth is, confidence has to be something that you create in the present. It's about managing your self-belief in the now and constantly reminding yourself that you have what it takes today, regardless of what you did yesterday. But if you manage to achieve this state, a lot of athletes then falsely assume that confidence becomes this magic shield. But once you have it, all doubts, nerves, and negative thoughts disappear. But that brings us to our next myth. Confidence cancels out all negatives. In reality, confidence isn't the absence of doubt. It's the ability to move forward despite it. You can feel confident and still feel elements of hesitation, nerves, or even fear at the exact same time. These feelings aren't mutually exclusive. Think of any professional fighter walking into the ring. They might feel fully confident in their preparation and ability to win, but that doesn't mean that they don't feel the weight of the moment. It doesn't mean their body isn't flooded with adrenaline or that small whispers of doubt don't creep in. The difference is that they don't let those feelings dictate their actions. A helpful way to think about it is like a volume dial. Confidence isn't about turning self-doubt down to zero. It's about making sure that your belief is turned up loud enough to drown out that noise. Pretty much every greatest athlete in history has admitted they still feel nerves before big moments. Whether it's Usain Bolt before Olympic finals, or Michael Jordan before huge playoff games, or Ronaldo before taking the decisive penalty kick. They all had moments of doubt, but their confidence was strong enough to stop those doubts from taking control. The reality is waiting until you feel 100% confident with zero fear, hesitation, or nerves is a losing game. That day will never come. The goal isn't to eliminate every negative thought, it's to trust your ability even when those thoughts show up. So look, grow comfortable with the fact that confidence can still sit side by side with a bit of self-doubt. That's completely normal. It keeps you on your toes, it stops you from getting complacent, and it dials in your focus onto the next level. And this also really ties into the next myth. A lot of athletes believe that confidence should be all-encompassing, that to be truly confident, you need to feel untouchable in every aspect of your game. That if there's even one area where you lack confidence, it means you're not truly elite. But the most self-aware athletes know that confidence isn't universal. It doesn't exist as this blanket feeling that covers absolutely everything you do. The reality is confidence is always selective. You will always feel more confident in certain aspects of your game than others, and that's completely normal. Think about a football player. Some of the best in the world have absolutely bulletproof confidence in their ability to strike the ball with their dominant foot, but they barely trust themselves to use their weaker foot in high pressure moments. Or take a 200-meter sprinter. They might have absolute certainty in their ability to explode out of the blocks and dominate the bend, but deep down they know that their top end speed in the final stretch isn't world class. Confidence isn't this all-powerful force that makes you unshakable in every situation. It's tied to specific parts of your game, often the ones that you've trained the most, built the most evidence in, or just have had the most success with. So look, please realize that you don't have to be confident in every aspect of your performance to succeed at the highest level. Some athletes go their entire careers never feeling fully confident in certain skills, yet they still dominate their sport because they focus on what they do best. They lean into their strengths and just manage their weaknesses instead of pretending to be something that they're not. True confidence is really not about being perfect everywhere. The mentally strongest athletes don't ever kid themselves into believing that this has to be the case. And there's also some other super important things that they don't do to ensure that they can perform their best on a consistent basis. So to learn what these things are, then check out this next video here.